Hi there, my name is MHohner, and I'll be your instructor for English 101. Each week or for each lesson, I'm going to provide a video like this. I'm going to try to mix it up. I'll get some other images in there other than myself, but you'll have a little video lesson like this each week for each lesson. They'll usually be about 5 to 10 minutes. This one's probably going to be a bit longer, about 5 to 10 minutes, because I want to tell you some things about the class in general, and about myself, and about taking online classes. Like I said in my message, I have some tips for you on that. Uh, and and we will get to a specific topic after that, but in most of these videos it'll just be a quick 5 or 10 minutes on a specific topic. I've taught a number of online classes before, and I've done things like make PowerPoints with half an hour, 45-minute, hour-long lectures dubbed over those PowerPoints. I don't feel that that's necessarily the most effective method of teaching online. That's a lot of information. It's hard for students to take in and digest and really utilize that much information. I also don't think it's a great idea to just give you only the textbook and only the assignments. I think some kind of other than email interaction with the professor is great, and also just at least a little bit of elaboration on the material that's in the textbook and in the discussion board posts, so that you're not just reading something, you do have someone talking to you about it, even if that's just very brief. I like to think that there'll be like YouTube videos, when you're looking on something on YouTube, how to fix a car or make a certain dish for dinner, that kind of thing, but with writing. So that's the goal with these videos. So with that said, like I said earlier, my name is MHohner. I'll be your instructor for English 101. I have my MA and my BA from Eastern Washington University. I'm an alumni. And then I have my PhD from Arizona State University. It's great to be back in Eastern Washington teaching at my alma mater. I really love this school and this community in the Pacific Northwest, so I'm really excited to be here teaching again. I have 4 kids, and my wife and I have 4 kids, so I know what it's like to be very busy and trying to balance. Almost all of them were born while I was in doctoral school, so I know the struggles of trying to balance school and work and having a family and other things like that, if any of you are in that situation. The class, you can look on the syllabus and see the course description. It's very straightforward. English 101 and 201 are the 2 required writing classes the university makes you take before you graduate. And so it's essentially a class designed to teach you the fundamentals of academic writing, which is writing in a style and a tone that is considered professional both in the university as you take other classes and in the workplace. So that's the university's policy on the class. I'd like to give you a brief discussion of my view. My personal view is that it's about learning to communicate effectively. I'd like for this class to be something that helps you beyond this class and even beyond the university and even beyond the workplace, but in all situations that involve oral or written communication. Help you to become a more effective communicator, because if one can communicate effectively, one can accomplish almost anything. So that's my personal goal, my personal vision for the class. I hope you find it that way. I hope that happens for you and you find this class useful in that sense. I know writing is difficult. Obviously, I enjoy writing, or I wouldn't have my PhD in English, but it's a struggle for me too. I think writing, even if it comes more natural to some of us, is a struggle for everyone. It's a difficult thing to do. But if you can do it well, you can accomplish so much, and so I'd really like this class to be able to help you do that. All of my information is located on the syllabus, and you're more than welcome to email me or contact me through Canvas anytime. I get those messages on my smartphone, and will respond right away if I'm teaching or I'm with my kids or something and I can't respond right away. Usually the longest is 3 to 4 hours. You'd have to wait. You're also more than welcome to stop by my office in person if you live in the Spokane-Cheney area, which I know some of you in the class do, and its location on the Eastern Campus is on there. I'd be more than happy to talk to you in person as well. If you want to talk beyond email and you don't live in the area or you can't drop by, I have access to Skype, Uvu, and FaceTime, so that information is on the syllabus as well. And you just email me and we'll set up a time for one of those appointments. Online classes, that's the third thing I wanted to talk about. Online classes are difficult in some respects because much more is put onto the student. They're convenient in that you can work, take care of your family, whatever you need to do, and kind of do the class when you want to, but that requires a lot of self-motivation. And because you're not in the classroom having discussions and hearing lectures, there's a lot of reading, a lot of posting online, and so it's very time consuming. So you really have to motivate yourself, stay up on due dates, and get all of that stuff turned in on time. So I want you to know that's why the requirements seem heavy, but those heavy reading and posting requirements take the place of the time you would normally spend in a classroom and doing homework in a more traditional brick and mortar face-to-face class. I've got the class Canvas site almost ready. The syllabus is up. All the assignments are up. A lot of the additional readings outside the textbook, those are up. There's a few more things I have to put up, but I should have those up by the end of the day today. The only things that won't be up by the end of the day today are these videos. I want to kind of film them as we go so that if something comes up in the class, I can address that almost as if we were having a normal class where we met once a week. And along with the discussion questions. I'll try to next week or sometime soon get the discussion questions up ahead of time, but I still need to write some of them. I know people usually want to work ahead in online classes, so if the videos or the discussion questions aren't up in the time frame that you would like to work ahead, send me an email and I can get you whatever information you need to work as far ahead as you need to. The class mainly consists of 3 major writing assignments, 2 major writing assignments, and then revising those to put them together in a portfolio. We'll talk about all of that stuff in detail as the class goes on. I'll cover assignments and things like that in these videos. Also, there's some little assignments, paperwork, things like that. Again, I'll cover all of those, and if you're logged into Canvas, you can see in your dashboard what is due coming up. You can also click on the syllabus button and see a calendar of when things are due, and the syllabus itself that I posted under files lists everything you need to turn in. The first thing that's due is the first day paperwork. This is just, it seems like an odd thing. I don't know why this is the case, but everyone at EWU is required to take English 101 and 201, so they're very standardized courses with a heavy influence from my department heads rather than, say, a course I just designed myself. So part of that is the paperwork is mandatory paperwork. All of it except the part about permission to use your writing as examples, and obviously anonymously, but in other classes that you don't have to sign unless you want to, but you can. Everything else, please sign. It should be simple. Just download it. If it works, you can type the information directly in the PDF, save it, and then upload it to Canvas. If not, you could print it out, write in it with a pen, and then scan it and email or upload it to Canvas. So that should be fairly easy. It's just something my department requires. Other than that, I don't have any information for you on it, but please make sure that you do it. The other thing that's due soon is the first discussion board post. So the class is 10 weeks long, and so for participation, I think the best idea is to have 10 discussion board posts, each one corresponding to a lesson. Obviously, we'll do other assignments, but that's kind of the way the course content is set up. And each lesson consists of reading one of these videos and then the discussion board post. The discussion board post is an answer to an engaging question I've posed, and then you also need to respond to a classmate. So each lesson is worth 2 points or 2% of your final grade, 1 point for the post and 1 point for a response to a classmate. The first one is due Sunday. I know that seems rather soon since we're starting today on Wednesday, but if you look at the calendar as a whole to keep up with all of the deadlines for things later on, we need to start that early. The only issue I could foresee with that is that getting the textbook. If you don't have it yet, I have all that information on the syllabus, how to order it through Amazon. If you can't make it out to campus, if you live in the Cheney-Spokane area, there should be hundreds of 101 textbooks in the bookstore here and at River Point, so you could pick it up that way. If you don't live in the area, like I said, you should be able to get 2-day shipping on Amazon, which should mean if you order today, it would get here well before Sunday, and that shipping should be free with your EWU email address and all that. All those instructions are on the syllabus, and you can message me on Canvas or email me if you have any questions about getting the book. And if for some reason you don't have the book or you're unable to complete the discussion board post by Sunday, please message me and we might be able to work out an extension since this is the very first one, as long as it doesn't interfere with the next one, which would be due a week from Friday. The next video and the next question I'll try to have up on Monday so that you have 4 or 5 days to work on those. And they'll normally either be due Fridays or Sundays. Excuse me, it's due a week from Sunday, not this Sunday. It's due a week from Sunday, not Friday. The first one's due this Sunday. The second one's due next Sunday. They'll either be due on Fridays or Sundays. They'll be due on Sundays if there's no other assignments. They'll be due on Fridays if there's a writing assignment, and then the writing assignment is due Sunday instead of the post. I think that's everything background I need to cover for the class, myself, and online classes. Like I said, please email me if you have any questions. Now, I hope that wasn't too boring. I'm still trying to figure out the best way to use technology in this sense, so I'm going to try to work on putting some visual aids and other things into the videos as we get further along. I hope this hasn't been too boring. I apologize if it has. Now I want to do just a quick 3 to 5 minute mini lecture. Usually we won't have that much background to cover, so usually these videos will be 3 to 5 minutes long, and they'll have the little mini lecture, which I said will be like a YouTube tip. Today's mini lecture is on rhetorical situations, which is the topic for lesson 1. If you look at your textbook, if you have it, the first 2 chapters are called rhetorical thinking and rhetorical situations. Now the word rhetoric goes back to ancient Greece, and it refers to persuasion, which the word persuasion sometimes has a negative connotation in our culture, but if you're persuading someone to something good, it's not really bad, right? The idea here is more just that you're making an effective argument, convincing someone to agree with you, which is usually the purpose in writing, which is why rhetoric's so important. If you think about it, we really use rhetoric on a daily basis. We have all kinds of interactions during the day. Convincing our kids to go to bed on time, convincing our friend where to eat lunch with us, interacting with our spouse or coworkers, those are all what I would call rhetorical situations. Anytime you're communicating with someone, there's a specific idea you're trying to communicate. So think of almost any situation you're in that involves communication and a purpose as a rhetorical situation. Those are the 2 criteria I would say that are necessary for rhetorical situation. Communication is happening, and there's a purpose behind that communication. So any writing assignment is a rhetorical situation, which is why we're learning about this. But like I said earlier, I would like for this class to help you master your communication skills for all rhetorical situations. Thinking rhetorically means you are aware of the fact that most situations you encounter on a daily basis are rhetorical situations, and you kind of have your mind open to that, so you're listening closer to people and really engaging with them. A third term I want to mention after rhetorical situation and thinking rhetorically is rhetorical sensitivity. Rhetorical sensitivity is essentially mastering your rhetorical skills so that different situations call for different responses, and rhetorical sensitivity is knowing what response to give in what situation so that you are a successful communicator. That's my goal, as after the class you've mastered your rhetorical sensitivity. If you think about any rhetorical situation, it can be broken down into several parts. Chapter 2 from your textbook covers, I think, 7 or 8 of these. There's about 4 that are the most important, so I want to talk about those now. Any rhetorical situation involves the author, which is you, the person who's writing, the person who's speaking, the person with a goal. It also involves the audience or the listener, the person who's hearing you, that you're talking to, who you're trying to convince to agree with you, that you're trying to communicate your idea to. There's also a context, some larger circumstances. Say, you need to eat lunch somewhere is the context. you are trying to convince your friend to go to this new Mexican restaurant that opened, so you are the author, and your friend who you want to go there with you is the audience. And then your purpose, the fourth thing is the purpose. The purpose is what you're trying to do. So you're trying to get the friend to eat there with you. Context is the four things: author, audience, context, and purpose. Author is you, audience is your friend, context is we need somewhere to eat lunch, purpose is you want to eat at the New Mexican restaurant. That's just one example of a rhetorical situation. Obviously, it could be anything. A writing assignment would be the next most obvious example. You are the author, the audience is the professor. You have a goal of doing well on the assignment, that's the purpose, and the context is the assignment itself. So those are two examples. Like I said, you probably encounter rhetorical situations on a daily basis. Rhetorical sensitivity is knowing what text, what to create. So the other aspects of rhetorical situation, chapter 2 in the textbook talks about, are things like genre, medium. So is it written? Is it oral? That would be the medium. Genre would be what type of text is it? Is it professional or scholarly or something else? For instance, you might not use the same language in a Facebook post that you would on a job application, cover letter for a job, say. So those are different genres, require different language, different response. Tone and design are two other things they mentioned. So you eventually write a paper or say something, do something. That's the text, the content you produce. And that content will either achieve your purpose or not. And if it does achieve your purpose, you've successfully used rhetoric. And rhetorical sensitivity, again, is knowing what text to produce, what tone to take, what design to use, what to say, what to do, what to write, what language to use in any rhetorical situation so that you are an effective communicator. And really great rhetorical sensitivity is to be able to go back and forth between different rhetorical situations. Say, write great Facebook posts, but also write great papers for class. So those are the concepts I wanted to cover in this lesson. The discussion board post asks you to think of a rhetorical situation you've been in and to talk about whether you achieved your purpose or not by discussing other elements. Say the author, the audience. Maybe you achieved your purpose and you did that through great use of tone and design, or maybe you failed in your purpose because you kind of addressed the wrong audience. You used, say, the wrong tone for that audience. So I feel like it's a fairly straightforward concept, but not one we think of right away. And so if we open our minds to it, we can really become successful communicators on a daily basis. And that's why we're studying this first. I think mastering rhetorical sensitivity and knowing what a rhetorical situation is so we can think rhetorical is a goal for the class, so we should have that down from the first day. So hopefully that all makes sense. Please let me know if you have any questions via email, and I look forward to reading your discussion board posts.